Hey guys, this is Shane and welcome to my Curator of the Lost channel. Today, I'm going to talk about 12 important things to consider or remember when selling on eBay. So this is like, you found a great book, you're ready to sell it, and you're getting ready to list it, and what are some of the key things you need to remember in the process? So if you're an old-time seller, these are just reminders. If you're a new seller, hopefully this will give you some insight. So before I jump in, I want to say thank you so much for the channel support. We broke 6,000 subscribers. That's awesome. So, if you hadn't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. You guys help me, hit the like buttons, give comments, engagement. It feeds that old YouTube engine. And, I love the community that we've got in the bookseller community. So if you, if you guys keep watching them, I'll keep doing them. We'll see what happens. So let's jump in. We're not doing the 12 days of Christmas. Here we are, December 2023. We're not doing the 12 days of Christmas, but we're doing the 12 things to remember or consider when selling on eBay, right? So the first thing, if you're getting ready to sell, and I've got my list here. I normally just go off the fly, but if there's 12 things, I gotta try to remember them, right? If you watch my videos for any length of time, you probably know that. I mean, it's free stream consciousness sometimes. I don't have a script. And they say YouTube, have a script. I just don't do it. So if that's what you're looking for, I don't do that. But in this case, I do have a list, so I don't forget the 12, Say I'm going to do 12 and only give you 11. The first thing is accurate book descriptions, okay? This is in your listing. The number one thing to do is, it's always remember it's better to, to under promise and over deliver, so your accurate descriptions, if there's, writing, if there's something wrong with it, or if it's a first edition, you just want to make sure all that's accurate, right? It's going to give better customer satisfaction. It's going to save you hassle in the long run if somebody, doesn't think that they're getting what they really got. So the number one thing is make sure that you give accurate descriptions. All right. What helps with that? Okay. The number two thing is to do high quality photos and try to do at least 6 photos on your on your listing. So high quality photos, just think of it, always think of it, if you're a buyer, it helps you see what you're buying, right? And helps you understand, exactly what it is, if there are any defects, if there's what the condition is. It helps reinforce, and sometimes it's even more meaningful than the description that you write. But have really good photos. Don't be lazy and use stock photos. Just take your own photos, take good photos. You don't have to have a fancy setup. Just do your own photos. It will improve your listings. It'll improve your sales. And the recommendation, the recommended practice is to have like at least 6 photos, and it starts to engage all that search engine stuff and quality listings. It's going to improve your sales. Now, back in the old days, it was very limited. It was super limited photos, but now you get like 12 or 15, or you get a ton of photos for free. So use them, but at least try to have 6 and make them good. So accurate book descriptions, number 1. Number 2 was clear and high quality photos. Number 3, and this is one of the hardest things for any seller, new or old, it's research your pricing, okay? And this is where we look at what we call comps, comparisons. And you have sold comps, things that are already sold. You can go to eBay. I've got videos on how to use those, to understand what to buy and train in your eye. But you can look at comps. You can look up the thing on Amazon. You look at what it's sold. And sometimes the pricing is all over the place. So you have to kind of consider, there's sometimes people are just way overpriced. Sometimes it's underpriced. What for your book, your item, what sets it apart from others, so that if there's a bunch of them sold for, $15, but yours is like, they're not first editions, yours is in great shape, maybe you could get 20 or 25 for yours. Or, if you have a limited edition of something, or on the flip side of that, if you've got something and you've got it priced, 20, 30, 40 bucks, and they're all selling for $5, you're never going to sell it. So hopefully you've done that kind of price searching on even your, you do that when you're sourcing to understand whether you should even buy it or not, whether it's worth your time and effort, whether you can make a profit on it. But I do that, and when I'm sourcing, I'm thinking, I'm either, some things I just buy by eye. I just say, hey, I want it. Other things I look up. Some things I have my scanner that I use. If you've watched me for any length of time, I'm kind of do a hybrid approach. I don't scan everything, but I do have a scanner since I started selling on Amazon a year and a half ago, and I use a hybrid approach between my eye and my scanner to pick my stuff. But I'm trying to do price comps as I go, so I don't buy a bunch of trash, right? And most of the time I'm in good shape. Sometimes you looked up something wrong, you get a dud. But when it comes time to actually list, you have to, it's kind of like while you're sourcing is the coarse refinement, and then you have the fine refinement, or is it coarse, fine, you know what I'm saying? You kind of have an idea when you buy it, but when you get ready to list, that's where the rubber meets the road, and you need to research your price and make sure you got your price for two reasons. One, so that you don't overprice and it sits there and never sells. But two, you don't want to underprice and miss profit, right? So this is probably got lots of videos out there on this, and this is one of the toughest things to do as a seller, is to get your pricing right, because that's exactly it. You don't want to lose profit, but you don't want it to sit there forever and not sell. So it's that balance. It's the it's kind of like a greed balance, right? So that was number 3. Number 4 is write good titles. Okay, descriptive titles. Don't use all caps. If I'm listing a book, I'll go off, and I should probably do a explicit video on this, but I'll do the book title. I try to put in the author name, hardback book. If it's a first edition, maybe first edition. One thing you can do and is that you can go into eBay under your seller tools, and you can run some of the performance reports. And I've got videos on those, and it will actually tell you how many keywords you've got on a listing, and it will give you feedback on the keywords. So, that's a topic in itself on how to write a good title, and I realize that, but I think, it's, you want to try to use, I think that it's, if you want to longer titles do better, you've got 80 characters, on the eBay title. I always try to have at least 70 characters used. But I definitely, on a book, I get the title, at least the author's last name, that it's a hardback book. And then if it's about a particular subject, say a town or a state or World War II or basket weaving, and that word's not in the title, I try to put that there. So again, I'll do a video on what my view is on writing titles and how to make sure you can establish keywords. But it is something that we can all improve on, is getting titles that help engage the search engine, right? So that's number 4, write good titles. Number 5, and this is one that I have to say, confessions of a bad bookseller, that I have historically been guilty of, but it is to use the item specifics. When you do the listing, do the item specific. eBay over a few years ago made some of those mandatory. On books, the author, the title, the language, I think, are mandatory. But there's all of these other ones that are topic and genre and publication year. And, I believe that it engages the search engine, again, to get things in front of people. Now, an easy way to do that on most books is to just take the time at the very beginning to enter the ISBN number. If you enter that, it's not foolproof, but a lot of times the ISBN number, when you enter that in the description and hit return, if it finds it, and finds it correctly, and I'm going to caveat that, little caveat star, it has to find it and find it correctly, it will pre-populate a lot of things for you, okay? And that's a big help when it does that. So I will say, again, confessions of a bad bookseller, there was, after eBay kind of bumped this item specific thing of 2-3 years ago, maybe it's been longer now, the way time goes. I was very lazy on that and just said, forget it, I don't do this. but I've kind of come around to it makes a difference. And so fill out your item specific. I've got a couple of quick tips that I'll give in some other videos, but the first tip is to, on a book, is to, if you enter the ISBN, it will help pre-populate that. Okay, so that was number 5. Number 6, know your shipping cost before you list. It's not as bad as for books that will go media mail. You're not gonna, you can underprice your shipping on a book shipped at media mail, and you can lose some profit that way, but you generally are not going to lose your shirt, right? Things like magazines or non-media items, if you don't know your shipping and how it's going to ship, and don't look at that and decide if I'm going to do it as a flat rate or if I'm going to do it calculated, and have my weights and have my things in, and it goes has to go into like a priority class, you can, somebody from, you're on the East Coast and somebody from the West Coast buys it, and you get the big zone, you can destroy every bit of your profit on items, So again, for media, where you're shipping media mail, it's, you can get a little upside down on that, but you're not necessarily going to destroy yourself. But things that have to go priority, or the new USPS Ground Advantage, it's not as bad either. But some of the shipping options on things have, been consolidated over the years. 2023 saw some more consolidation on shipping options, and it's just, know how you're going to ship it, know what kind of box it's going to go in, and know what, check out your pricing, and don't get hosed on pricing costs. So know your shipping, how you're going to ship it, and what the costs are beforehand, so that your listing is done in such a way, with either a flat or a calculated shipping, or however you're doing it in your listing, to make sure it covers what your cost is going to be. All right, the number 7. This is one that will amp your sales. Okay, this will increase your sales. You have to monitor and use your send best offer, your send offer. Maybe it's happened to you. If people watch your item or bookmark your item, it shows up in a list where you can, on either on your phone or, on the desktop, on the regular web interface, where if you go under My eBay, you can go into the seller options, and there's a thing where you can send offers. So anybody that's looked at your thing, and you've probably received these if you've bought anything off eBay or looked at anything on eBay, if you see them, you can send offers to people. Now, they don't have to accept them. You can even say that you want to turn counter offers on or off. I just leave them on. But like, say you have something listed for $20, and somebody looks at that, I can send them an offer and say, hey, you looked at this, if I'll sell it to you for $17.99 or $15.99. Or if it's a long setter and I just want to get it off my shelf, maybe I give them a deal, $12.99. Whatever your number is, you're in control. You send it, and I tell you, I get really, really good responses on sent offers. I actually have a friend at work that if he's buying something on eBay, he will not, no matter how much he wants it, he will not just buy it right there. He will bookmark it and see if sellers will send him a discounted offer. That's how he operates. And I think there's a lot of people that are like that. Now, some people will counter with, if you have counter offers turned on, they'll counter with some lowball number. And, whatever. Some people just, they want to do that to try to get a better deal. You're totally in control. You can just say, no, thank you. I don't accept that counter offer. Or you can say, well, okay, that's still fair. I just want to move it. It's still fair. You're total in control, and it will increase your sales if you monitor it and send those offers, okay? Number 8, only ship to eBay approved addresses. Somebody calls you, or somebody messages you through, and says, oh, this is a bad address. I need to send it to my mom. It's not this address. I meant to go to this one. They need to, if they really want to do that, they need to just cancel it, and they need to rebuy it and let them enter a verified address, okay? You don't need to ship it. If the address comes through to you to destination A on eBay, that's a verified address. It'll say verified address. If somebody wants you to send it to some other address do not do it. It invalidates any protections you have with eBay. That's the first thing they're going to do. They're going to say, it's just going to completely, what little protection you have as a seller, what little bit of shred of eBay support you have. If you do that and they say they didn't get it or something happened, you're going to be totally hosed. Just don't do it. Just only ship to those verified addresses that are through the eBay system, right? Ship it to what they send it to. All right, number 9. This is common sense and common courtesy. Do prompt communication. Somebody sends you a question. Somebody, communicates with you through the system. Just be prompt. Okay, it increases, buyer satisfaction. It's just the right thing to do, right? Think of it as like, it's what you want if you're a buyer. Kind of the corollary to that is only communicate through the eBay system on any questions. Do not, don't get offline if it's dealing with your selling, right? So just be courteous and do prompt communication. All right, number 10. Process your orders promptly. And again, this is for seller satisfaction, buyer satisfaction, and for, if you have a certain, process promptly. What I mean by that is within your published, what your agreed handling time is. If you have in your eBay listing, if you say that you have 1 day handling time, you got to do it 1 day. I don't do 1 day. I do 3 day. I don't worry about trying to get that same day shipping with the discount. I just do 3 day. It gives me flexibility on my day schedule. But if you say that you're going to ship it in 3 days and you don't, it hits your seller rating. So you'll go from top rated seller, you'll go down, right? It gives you a certain percentage of those to be able to buy that label and get it late. Even if you are, you purchase the label and get it on it, but even if you don't get to the post office that day, you can drop by the post office the next day. I don't recommend waiting a week, but if something happens and you didn't actually get to the post office, you've at least bought the label. And then my experience is, if I'm later, then, and of course they scan it at the post office too, it doesn't affect my ship time. So just process it promptly within your prescribed limits, okay? Number 11, we're almost to the end. Package your item securely. All right, so listen, people out there, you got camps, people say put them in the bubble mailers, and I have no problem, never had a problem. I get it. I know they're lighter, I know they're cheaper. But anytime I've had issues with mailing books, mailing items, it was just in the bubble mailers, right? Or, it's something cut through them, the edges get damaged, people complain. I'm a box guy. I get it. It costs more, it increases your weight, so your shipping's a little more. But I hate to have a item, when I'm a buyer, I hate to have an item that I bought, it's a first edition, it's nice, it comes in a bubble mailer, and it got damaged. I hate that. And then you have to work something out. I don't want to deal with it. For me, it's just like how I want it. Some people say, well, I only do boxes on expensive stuff. On less expensive stuff, I throw it in a bubble mailer. You do you, all right? There are two firm camps, and I get bubble mailers are cheaper, they're faster, they're lighter. I get it. Some people pop them in there, send them, done. I just like the protection, the peace of mind, and definitely if it's an expensive book, put it in a nice box, securely, wrap it securely, package it inside so it doesn't shift around and cause damage. And that really goes for anything. You've done the work. You found an awesome thing. You sold it for a great profit. You do not want it to get damaged in shipping. So pay attention to your shipping. Do it securely. And then the last one is on defects and returns. Listen, when it happens, just suck it up and, unless it's just somebody that's just clearly trying to run a scam. A lot of times on books, unless it's like, if it was a high dollar something, I want it back. But, if I've got a $10, $15, $20 book and I'm going to pay return shipping, and I just say keep it and refund all their money. You just suck it up. I've been on eBay since 1999. And my experience, and I know every once in a while I get pessimistic on this because I get, you get a run of bad luck, 2 or 3 in a row. But over the years, 99.9% of the people are good people, good buyers. They're not trying to cause you any grief. as long as you've listed things accurately, good photos, you're communicating, all those things that help in the whole seller process, right? Most people I've found are really good. They're not, I've had a few over the years where people are trying to do a scam or and I'm like, no, just send it back, whatever. But most people, if they have a problem, and especially if it's something I hosed up, just refund their money, everything, shipping and all, and just say, keep the book, be happy, I apologize. You just got to suck it up and just say, it just happened for whatever reason, right? So that's it. The 12 recommendations, 12 things to remember on selling on eBay. You know, again, you bought your good item, you're getting ready to do it. So let's do a quick recap. Accurate book descriptions, great, clear photos, try to maximize at least 6. Research your pricing, don't underprice and lose money. Don't overprice and make it sit there forever. Write good titles, that's number 4. Number 5, just bite the bullet and use item specifics. Take the time, put them in. Use ISBN numbers on books to help populate that stuff. Number 6, know your shipping costs so you don't get hosed on shipping. Number 7, monitor and send those best offers. Increase sales through that, okay? Number 8, only ship to eBay approved verified addresses. Number 9, prompt communication. Communicate like you would want to be communicated with, and only do that through the eBay system to protect yourself. Number 10, process orders promptly and especially within your prescribed advertised shipping days. If it's all same day or 3-day or whatever it is, make sure you at least hit that. Number 11, package things securely so that you don't, at the last stage, introduce a problem that you had some control on. Well, nice, well done packaging saves you a lot of heartache. And number 12, when you get those defects or you get an error, just own it, just cut it loose. Have faith in your fellow man that not everybody's trying to scam you, and it's something that happened, especially if it's something that you host up. So that's it. 12 tips, considerations, recommendations. Hopefully you found them informative. I know some of those I could drill down on a lot more and just make videos or information on their own. But I'll do that. But look forward to your comments. Again, feed that YouTube algorithm for me. Like it, comments, subscribe, all that. And you guys see cool, buy cool, and then list it so you can sell it. Talk to you soon. Bye.